All right, all right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game between two players that I haven't really cast before, so should be a great human versus human mirror match. Lecky spawning as the purple human on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Verdi spawning as the pink human on the top right. Alright, so Verdi spawning as the blue human on the top right, and you can already tell with that barracks first, he's going to be going for that Paladin rifle build. Paladin rifle build, get that barracks out, train up those riflemen, and it's really the only different build order for human players compared to the standard Altar of Kings and barracks. Can't tell what hero will be coming for, well, from Lecky, as we're looking at most likely Archmage and some early footmen, but I couldn't, throw out the possibility of a Mountain King and then perhaps a Blood Mage to follow. Now, let's go ahead and get to that 2-minute mark of this game, and from here we'll figure out what the strategy is. Wait, what? Oh, this is a Tavern hero. I take it back. So no Blacksmith, barracks first, Altar of Kings. This is going to be a Tavern hero from Verdi, and meanwhile we are looking at an Archmage coming in from Lecky. So yeah, a little bit of a curveball there. Normally human players don't like to go for Tavern heroes first, and with a Tavern hero, I am curious what is going to be the choice. Archmage with that early Brilliance Aura so powerful later in the game, being able to lead casters and also support the secondary and tertiary heroes by giving them additional mana. Now, footmen are just scouting around here. We are keeping track, and it is going to be militia now already getting called out. Where are they heading off to? Going to perhaps go off to the Forest Troll Berserker here? No, where? Oh, they're going to the shop. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and try and clear out this Goblin Merchant shop here. This is a 5-4-3 creep camp, meaning, well, 5-4-3 creep camps will immediately give level 2 to the Archmage. Meanwhile, Dark Ranger here. Alright, so Dark Ranger by Verdi. He's going to try and go infinite with this early Black Arrow. No, Siphon Life. Alright, so early Siphon Life, he's actually just tanking a large amount of damage, able to take down one. Units continuing to fight here, trying to lob a little bit of damage. But Siphon Life first, this is really quite odd, as the Dark Ranger taking quite a bit of damage, but still able to do a lot of what he wants to do, and now going to take down another peasant there. Alright, so peasants are getting taken out pretty quickly. There's Siphon Life, Archmage being forced to retreat back, and it is going to fall back here. Dark Ranger sitting now at 157 hit points, continuing to dance away. Archmage also taking quite a bit here. Archmage is still only sitting at level 1 as the Dark Ranger plays, well, Ring Around the Rosie in the forest, and able to do, double back around here. Meanwhile, in the base, we are teching the tier 2 by Verdi already. There goes another peasant getting taken out, as the Dark Ranger now looks to retreat back. Did get 3 peasant kills, and now perhaps going to try and finish off the trappers here. All right, Forest Troll Berserker taking quite a bit of damage here. Yeah, Forest Troll Berserker will get taken down. The Dark Ranger actually, well, a great way of using that hero armor. Why did it stop? Why did the Dark Ranger stop? And did the Forest Troll Trapper actually break that connection? That would have been a little bit odd there, as Black Arrow is now finally online. Archmage looking to bring, take down this footman here. Verdi's footman already down to, 87 hit points. Archmage is sitting at level 2 now, does pick up Boots of Speed, still has that Circlet of Mobility, sold that Gloves of Haste, and should be checking the tier 2 now. Going to be significantly behind Verdi, who is nearly already at a tier 2. And is he going to go for a second Tavern hero? That's always a possibility. A second Tavern hero would be quite nice. Also, dual Siphon is something I don't think I've ever seen either. So Dark Ranger, Blood Mage, Siphon Life, Siphon Mana. That would just be an interesting combination to work out altogether to see if that could possibly work. It's just funny in theory, but could actually be very, very powerful in execution if the other player doesn't know how to play against it. Dark Ranger, Claws of Attack +5, Boots of Speed. That is it. Dark Ranger currently low on a life right now. We're low on mana right now, unable to drain more. Dark Ranger now gets to level 3. Is he going to go for Black Arrows or something else, as we see a Panda as the second hero? All right. So as you guys know, training at the Tavern is instantaneous. So getting a second Tavern hero this early in the game means that he has a very big advantage with that hero already out here on the battlefield. Footmen with Defend are going to try and fight back here. Force Troll Berserkers units going to, well, engage more and more. Footman is reflecting back a little bit of damage. There's a healing ward, though. Very nicely done by Lecky. And, well, that means that the Panda is not going to be able to really drain down as much mana as he wants here. You can see a little bit of damage. That black area going to go ahead and take down that right there. And all of the healing has come to an end. Meanwhile, Militia and Verdi's army is chasing after the Archmage. Low hit point Footmen are trailing back here. Dark Ranger does move fairly fast, trying to get some black arrows to fly onto that Archmage. Panda. Well, there goes another Breath of Fire, trying to rack up a little bit more damage. Are we going to see the death of a Footman? Oh, one more attack, and it would have been down. It does get taken down. There is now level 2 Black Arrow units coming out here. Footman with the Fen. And, well, Verdi is just doing a great job targeting relatively low hit point units and turning them into skeletal minions. By doing so, they're just adding more and growing this army more and more here. As we're looking at Verdi now building an outpost with an arcane vault and a scout tower in his opponent's base. This could potentially turn things around here. We see a Panda has been picked up by Lecky as well. And Lecky's going to need to try and use this Panda to try and blow things over literally. All right, a little bit of damage. There's some more Black Arrow. Low hit point Footman about to get taken down. There's another Dark Minion out here. 15 over 17 damage. Remember, they're essentially as powerful as Footmen. That level 2 variety. There's that Siphon life. Dark Ranger has picked up a couple of Ivory Towers as well. Can throw them down. Perhaps try and build up some towers here. Are we going to get a Potion of Healing as well? There's that Potion of Healing to be used as the Panda is still fighting its way through. All right, Black Arrow, that's going to be another dead unit right there, and it is now out here onto the battlefield, trying to finish things off here. Panda, Breath of Fire could work out quite a few wonders here as the Panda falls at level 1. All right, Pink Panda falls at level 1. Verdi, there's another Breath of Fire, and this outpost looks like it could get blown over. The level 2 Panda of Lecky, a great job already getting to level 2, winning out, taking down so many of those units, as now the Dark Ranger gets up to level 4. All right, trying to go after more targets, trying to get more of those peasants back out here onto the battlefield, and you can see low hit point peasants just constantly getting converted into other units again and again. All right, continuing the fight again. There's going to be another Rifleman also joining in on the battle. Are we going to be seeing some repairs? We are. And we're looking at a low hit point water. Oh, no. Archmage could be in trouble. Down to 86 hit points. Down to 32. 35 hit points. We are now seeing some repairs. Finally, more Ivory Towers being placed down. But, well, the Scroll of Town Portal took the unit away in time. Water Elemental away before it could, well, finish off this Scout Tower. And it is now repaired back once more. Verdi's Panda has resurrected and has walked back out onto the battlefield now. Well, knocking on the farm door, trying to take it down. Breath of Fire could do a little bit of damage here. You can see the Archmage is trying to heal. Priests are in the back. This is all for a little bit of a reset right now. And, well, the Priests and their heals are incredibly important. Riflemen do have that range upgrade, which is incredibly important. More shooting the broadside of a farm in order to, well, put pressure here as the Dark Ranger using a Clarity Potion to try and maintain mana. All right. Low hit point Rifleman going to be forced to back away. There's that Arcane Tower. It is now putting pressure down. One Arcane Tower, a second one about to be completed with more Ivory Towers here. And this strategy of building an Arcane Vault to then have a very fast Arcane Tower or Ivory Towers so close into the front position, actually rather deadly. These Arcane Towers continuing to, well, cause problems. And what can Lecky do to really break out of a situation like this? Does not have an Arcane Vault, cannot build Spellbreakers, and is sitting at 31 over 26 supply, unable to train up any additional units. There's a Breath of Fire, but, well, one Scroll of Regeneration would more than make up for that. 42 over 44 supply, and, well, we're just looking at more pressure being placed down again and again. All right, there's another Breath of Fire, a little bit of damage, and, well, gonna get backed up once more. All right. Rifleman taking a little bit of damage there. Oh, what is this Arcane Tower going after the Rifleman? So the Dark Ranger felt like it could get in some easy shots there. As the Rifleman now finally looks to back up. We are at 31/26 supply again. More farms trying to be built in the back. 31/20 now. Archmage with invisibility. What is he going to do? Archmage with invisibility goes past enemy lines, and in order to break the siege, typical hero leading the army trying to break out of a bad position. All right, Tome of Retraining is the plan now. Retrain into Blizzard and try and Blizzard down all of these Arcane Towers here. More things still being built. Archmage says, all right, I got a Scroll of Healing, I got a Tome of Retraining. Let's go ahead and do this. And now there's Blizzard. All right, so using Blizzard, trying to clear a little bit of a zone. Sorceress now retreating back here. Archmage's Blizzard is it hitting the Arcane Tower? It is actually hitting the Arcane Tower, and beautifully done. Archmage gets hit by the Arcane Tower just so that the Panda could come in with a quick breath of fire. Now, we're going to try and do it again. All right, Panda goes in. There's another Blizzard. Are we going to be able to break this siege? That is the question. That is another peasant getting taken down. And beautifully done so far, as the Archmage is still inching forward again and again to try and break the siege. 31/38 supply. Lumber is a problem. Repairs are underway. Archmage low on mana. Panda gonna try to come across here. Are we gonna see another Blizzard? Yes, we do. Panda now gonna come across and try to finally break free from this position. Remember, Sorceresses and Priests actually deal very good damage against these Arcane Towers because of their magic damage. And oh, they just needed a little bit more focus. All right, focus was all that was needed right there. And now we're going to see the Dark Ranger continuing to put in pressure again. This Arcane Tower causing a little bit of problems. Panda low on mana. Archmage low on mana. Priest trying to heal back here. We're looking at 34/38 supply. Still more damage coming across. More peasants perhaps going to get called to arms and then try to get in some repairs here. Timing is going to be absolutely key to try and take down these towers. Doing so much damage to the towers and to let them stand is just a horrible position. There we go. There's the Blizzard. Oh, reposition. And now, there goes another. All right, both sides fighting. No, it isn't reposition. It was silence. Breath of Fire now coming back across. Yuna's trying to retreat back again. Militia now back across here. And they're going to be able to do a little bit there. So one round of retraining deserves another silence to now counteract that Blizzard there. And this is some high-level play. Thinking to actually cast invisibility, break from your siege, retrain the Blizzard, and then the Dark Ranger says, I too know how to read a Tome of Retraining, and then opts to go for silence to, further contain this siege. All right. Blizzard now being brought back over. Are we going to cast another silence? Yes, we do. Level 2 now on the Panda for Verdi, or on Verdi's Panda. We're looking at, these units trying to, try to head back. There's another Breath of Fire. The Breath of Fire not hitting those peasants, though, as the units, wow, more damage getting racked up onto more Riflemen again. Another Scroll of Regeneration will most likely be needed. And, yeah, having that Arcane Vault is so incredibly important as the Archmage gets silenced once more. All right. Constantly getting silenced here. Peasants or Riflemen continuing to shoot their way through. 35/38 supply. Skeletal minions actually popping up behind enemy lines here. That is a lot of workers now. 12 workers compared to 13, and they're just trying to repair, trying to keep things going. This Tier 2 siege is lasting forever and a day. Archmage is just backed into a corner, supply blocked, and now low on lumber as Archmage now comes across. Oh, tries to get into a Breath of Fire range only to get silenced by the Dark Ranger at the last second. All of that arcane towers draining all of that mana, so the Panda suddenly loses all of that mana there. Not quite sure why invisibility isn't used first if you're going to run the Panda out into that position. At least not have him get hit by all of those arcane towers. Maybe when that Panda is at level 3. Blizzard, inbound silence. Not enough damage here. Riflemen continuing to shoot, and I believe this keep is about to fall. Lecky has done a good job holding off the storm. but I think a breaking point of 585 hit points is going to be reached soon, as the riflemen now are targeting the peasants instead. Arcane Tower trying to rush on in. Is he going to be able to do anything? Does have Drunken Brawler. Is he going to try to go for level 3 Breath of Fire? He is. Level 3 Breath of Fire is only useful when you actually have mana, which, well, this Brewmaster has none of right now. Both sides still fighting their way through. Riflemen continuing to fight. We're going to see this Arcane Tower about to get taken down. It finally goes as well, and the Panda, well, stuck in this position here. Dark Ranger perhaps going to head back. Scroll of Regeneration. No, Clarity Potion. No, Potion of Mana. And trying to go after some of those targets. Black Arrows onto that Brewmaster. Brewmaster, however, has a bunch of priests nearby. And what is this? Suddenly, Lecky, well, getting some opportunities to try and fight back against some of these riflemen. The riflemen are actually a little bit too far in. They're going to be Blizzard. There's going to be a quick silence. Militia now can come online and try and fight back here. 47 supply compared to 35. Verdi thought that it was the right time to try and, well, break the siege lines and take down the keep, and the question is, was there enough? Level 5 now on the Archmage, level 3 on the Brewmaster. There's level 3 Blizzard, and level 3 Blizzard does rack up quite a bit of damage there. There goes another Rifleman again, Panda taking a little bit of damage, and we're going to see perhaps well, oh my gosh, that Rifleman so low on hit points, finally getting taken out. Brewmaster sitting nearly at level 4. 29 supply compared to 32. Verdi is actually on the lower side of this battle now. Verdi perhaps, well, tried to venture forward just a little bit too fast, didn't use his range, and, well, ended up taking a lot more damage. Remember, these casters providing so much support, so much healing over time, as the Panda now tries to dive in once again. More repairs underway. 17 workers now for Verdi. Yeah, 18 workers now for Verdi. So where are all of those workers? Arcane Vault is built off over here. Spellbreakers can now get trained up, but they need lumber and more farms to do that. The worker count actually seems very high. It doesn't seem quite right. There's another Breath of Fire as the units are still popping back out here. I don't know. Let me know. 5 workers here, 2 workers here. Is this worker count actually accurate, or is that the army size count? That would be the better question. All right, yeah, looking at the map, I don't see where any other workers could possibly be, as we are now getting Verdi into a workshop. All right, well, trying to go back to that range game, workshop does work well. Black Arrows perhaps going to try and finish off a couple of those units. Again, 34 supply compared to 37. Arcane Tower still poking away at this keep. More units. Yeah, there, finally, down to 10 workers. There wasn't a sudden loss of workers here. Not quite sure what the delay was. Overlay perhaps not always accurate now. Blizzard continuing to rain down. There's a Breath of Fire cut short once more. And I said invisibility on the Brewmaster first. There we have it. Finally getting invisibility on the Brewmaster. He's going to perhaps pick up a Clarity Potion for himself and some mana potions. He's going to be able to use Breath of Fire and blow out of this position here. I think the sorceress actually cast invisibility on a peasant in order to build this arcane vault off to the side. Invisibility in order to, well, break free just like that. Potion of mana. There's a silence right there. A little bit of damage. Brewmaster currently sitting at 90 mana, and perhaps can try and break free from this containment, as the mortar teams are now finally out here. You remember, those mortar teams do deal large bursts of damage against buildings. There's Blizzard. You do not want to be standing right next to the Archmage. And wow, that silence onto the Brewmaster right there, absolutely accidental, as the Brewmaster perhaps going to... Oh, this would be a big deal. There's a Breath of Fire coming back across, now trying to get in some more damage. There's some more Blizzard. That's going to be a lot of dead Riflemen. No, Riflemen not getting taken down. Silenced in time, but, well, they're so low here. Brewmaster down to 61 hit points, down to 46. There's a Breath of Fire. More being blown over. Brewmaster down to 21 hit points. Mortar teams, 2 of them, now trying to take it down. No more lumber, no more gold. This could be a problem. More repairs are necessary. The keep now down to 91 hit points. And are we going to actually, after all this time, lose to the mortars, as the Brewmaster now trying to retreat back? There's a Breath of Fire. Panda gets taken down. All right, mortar teams are all taken down now. 6 gold, not going to be enough. And that's gotta be the end here, right? More gold still being mined. No more gold being mined back at home. There's a massive scroll of healing, but those peasants can't even call to arms as there is no town hall. Level 5, level 2, level 4 going up against a level 5, level 2. Dark Ranger. Oh, is there going to be a potion of mana? No, no potion of mana. No Drunken Brawler. Slow onto the Dark Ranger. Dark Ranger has no way out. Dark Ranger in a lot of trouble. Down to 64 hit points. And able to use a Scroll of Town Portal to get away in time. All right. Finishing off all of these buildings now. The priests are going to be able to easily heal. Arcane Tower targeting the Archmage and the Brewmaster instead of targeting those priests. The priests should really be getting in a lot more heals. Peasants now walking out here. And, well, the Brewmaster and the Archmage, I guess at this point, could try and creep. And by creeping, get enough gold, but they still wouldn't have enough lumber. There's no way, and then they would have to build a lumber mill. After building a lumber mill, then they could perhaps build something else. Archmage chasing after the Dark Ranger. All right. Dark Ranger does have Boots of Speed, able to outrun. Verdi down to 31 over 50 supply. There's only 40 gold here, so in a sense, both sides are what you see, what you get, and both sides have similar size supplies. However, this is all in mass peasants here, as the workshop getting ransacked by a bunch of peasants to try and take it down. Spellbreaker stealing some Bloodlust, giving it to, well, the Archmage and perhaps the Panda. This is an interesting spot to be in. Mana is an incredibly important resource. Dark Ranger right off over there. Militia now getting called over. Oh, this could be a big deal indeed. Are we going to see some damage? Here we are. Here we go. Trying to go after some of these units. Perhaps Breath of Fire to try and blow things over. There's some more damage again. New Brewmaster back out onto the battlefield. And this Brewmaster, where is it going? It's slowed. No, it is not. No slow to be had. Verdi does have, well, a Mud Golem right there. There's some Siphon life. We're going to see he's perhaps trying to break that bond and then come back across here. There's a Breath of Fire, but that does not do very much. One Rifleman, no, none of the Riflemen getting taken down. Are they going to get taken down? There goes one. Level 5 now on this Panda. So level 3 Breath of Fire is now available. Level 3 on Verdi's Panda. Are we going to see a Breath of Fire blow over? Doesn't hit the Panda. That Panda was down to 110 hit points. There's a deny right there, but it may not matter. Verdi ends up losing the game. Verdi, with the perfect execution and siege of his opponent's base, shuts it down, but loses so much in that battle that ultimately ends up losing the war. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.